Live from the internet, it is the Crystal Chronicles, your #1 podcast for all things Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. This is episode 53, recorded on May 9th, 2009, and I am your host, Mark, spelled with an M, and I am joined by our good friend and In-N-Out Burger's Employee of the Month, MinoSpelgud.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
I'm very good. And how are you?
I think I'm starting to hit that age where I need coffee every day now.
Yeah.
Even 7 to 8 hours of sleep and I still get tired midday at work now. It's the worst.
Welcome to adulthood. And we are joined by the only man with the prescription for your itch to pull. It is the Doctor of Evaluations, Kreese, a.k.a. Zerink. How you doing, Kreese?
Hello. I should take my own advice sometimes, and that's all I'll say.
Don't self-medicate. Well, welcome all of you joining us on Twitch. We record every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And welcome all of you listening to us on YouTube, Twitch later, or on your favorite podcast app. We welcome you and look forward to a good show. We have a lot of content tonight to get through, so let's start at it. A few bits of news. There were a couple updates and a couple other things that got fixed over the last week, but you were able to complete your early May Chocobo panel because it took 8 days to log in, I believe, to complete all of it. So I have completed my Chocobo panel board. Gentlemen, how are you with yours? Are you finished?
I am done with mine. The last thing I had to do was the ghost, so I went and just farmed Sabin's last chapter, and that took me maybe 15 minutes to do that. So yeah, I'm done now.
Sabin,
I'm done.
You're done? Really, Mino? Nice. You did 25 co-ops.
Yeah, Barret and the last one, the last World of Illusion one, and then there's one tonight too, right? So
there is. We're gonna have a weekly co-op here throughout this month. So
better not be another 25 co-ops on the next Chocobo board. When are we getting that, by the way?
Mid-May. So that was early
It'll be
May.
like May 15th, I think.
Okay, so with the story chat, yeah, there's probably gonna be more co-ops. Oh my god, kill me now.
More co-op. I have not finished the Barret co-op, but I'll just bring Kuja into the Magic Week boss and annoy everybody for a few hours and clear that one up. So good luck on all of those. We do have a couple new costumes. Kuja's and I don't remember what they call it here. Let me go and check. What do they
Trino
refer to?
Noble.
Yes, the Trino Noble costume. And if I had more time, I was going to look in my Final Fantasy IX archive to see if there was some concept art. I don't actually hate it. I don't know how you guys feel. I actually don't think it's that bad. Yeah, so I think it's, I don't know.
It looks like he's wearing a witch costume to me, which I don't mind. It looks a little strange if you're not used to it, but I'm enjoying the costume so far.
He's so
the hair
handsome.
is the only thing that bothers me. If he had his original hair with the costume, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's like blonde, curly, wig thing. I don't know.
He's got the beautiful girl hair. That's a Space Ghost joke. So go check out the Space Ghost. Anyway, interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys bought the costume. I sure did. But the Yuna costume, which we also got this month, as a repeat, we've gotten it before. I haven't tried to buy it, but I have the option to buy it.
It says in the notice itself that if you already have the costume, you'll get everything but the costume if you buy the bundle.
Okay. So you can buy it again. So be careful if you're just like, oh, whatever costume pack I get. Make sure you're buying the right costume pack if you want the Kuja costume as opposed to the Yuna costume if you already have that Yuna costume, because you are able to buy that costume pack. And you would get the gems for the discounted rate, which is 9,000 gems. But it is a little nicer to have those costumes with it, in my opinion. Maybe not yours.
The costumes are definitely a value add, but you are right that the gem pack plus costume is the same rate as the discounted 9,000 gem pack. So it's not a huge loss if you actually accidentally buy the wrong one, except you have to buy the right one.
Right. Especially if you buy 2 a month, because I don't think we're going to get any other costumes this month. But maybe. We still have a lot of time, so...
Probably no more costumes this month. They've been doing about 2 a month for a while now.
Yeah, and if people don't know, we actually... There's not many more costumes that JP has as opposed to us. We're only missing 2 or 3 costumes that they have in Japan, right?
Yeah, I think Zach.
Yep.
I can't even think of others.
King Noctis. Yeah, thank you.
No, doesn't Renoa have a costume? And Bart's just recently got a costume.
Renoa party dress.
Not yet, right? Not yet for Renoa, I think.
Or she's coming.
Or did she just get it? Is the Bart's costume out in Japan already, Harrieth is saying?
I've seen videos from Japan of people using the Bart's costume, so it is out.
Oh, okay.
So we make.
I think it was released with his new rework in X+.
Yeah, and there's an alternate Onion Knight, right? Zyros.
No, they're saying Onion Knight and Renoa have not hit JP
okay,
yet.
Yeah. We've seen we've heard rumors.
It's in the data files.
It is in the data files, yes. Sometimes we get confused because we look at the data files in Japan and don't necessarily know as we don't play the game. So.
Oh, Eminos is right. Y'shtola does have a costume in Japan of her Heaven Sword look.
Oh, nice.
So all of these are actually characters coming up for us very soon.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense. But again, they're probably going to release them one at a time and do reissues because we're catching up to Japan really, really fast, costume-wise.
Yeah, Harith, Renoa's costume is the white party dress from the dance. Yes.
I'm pretty sure that the reason they keep releasing the costumes for us, though, is because we're buying them, which isn't a bad thing.
No, right. Make more costumes. We'll buy them. We aren't smart. We'll give us more costumes. We'll buy them. Pretend we like to dress our people up. What's wrong with you? All right. So for more important content, let's turn to one of our several events this week. Right Arm with a Mission, the Barret event. So, Kreese, do you want to tell us a bit about the man with the gun arm, Barret?
And
not Mega Man? Whoa! I've been lied to. I was told it was Mega Man coming.
I remember we said Hulk with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, Hulk with the Infinity Gauntlet.
but Kreese, so we've got since you're our official character eval guy, we've gotten some requests, and I feel this is good if you want to incorporate this into your little review. But basically, people would like to know like a general sort of rotation or how to use the character, either as a friend or whatever, like how to set up the moves to get the most out of it, how to get the quickest setup going, and maybe a team recommendation with it, or at least a partner recommendation.
Okay, I can do that quickly. Well, Barret is basically a walking buff battery. He's a ranged attacker who brings a buff aura in Avalanche. When he has Avalanche up, he buffs himself a lot, his attack and Max Brave, and he buffs his party members' attack and Max Brave a lot. So beyond that, he's just a ranged attacker. That's all he does. For basic rotation information, Barret wants to use Grenade Bomb twice to get to max Avalanche stacks really fast. That's his second ability, his AoE Brave plus HP when he's fully awakened. And then he can start using his other ability, Big Shot. Note that Big Shot does have an HP conditional, so it does not always do an HP attack. He needs to be above 80% Brave, 80% Max Brave to trigger it.
Very good.
Anything else? Wait, I forgot about the team comp suggestions, right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Team comp suggestions, beyond just putting him with whoever you want to buff up their attack and defense, he does also bring a party physical attack buff that he activates on Big Shot, so he'll work better in physical teams. But again, his big advantage is just being a walking buff bot. He'll make everyone better. So bring him with a party where someone that you need to get stronger. Physical will do a little better, but it's not a huge loss if you don't bring physical.
So what do you think about the character?
I have not seen him in any co-ops all week, and I did not pull for him because I was saving up for Kuja. So
Now that
my
you say
opinion
that,
is
I
limited.
haven't seen him either. Nor have
Same.
I seen any friend Barretts.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
odd.
So how much? I mean, I don't think.
And the weird thing is, sorry to cut you off, Mark.
No,
The
please.
weird thing is that even though I have not seen any Barretts, I've seen a lot of Tifa EXs. So people pulled on that banner.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, no, I didn't pull on that banner, but if I had pulled on that banner, I might use Barret, at least in this event, and at least in that co-op.
I will say,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off again. I will say that while I did not pull for Barret, if I was stuck on the Heretic events and I felt a party buffer would help me get through them, I would weapon token Barret's 35 and just Power Stone him up. That is an advantage of him. He doesn't have an EX weapon. You can spend no gems on his kit and get him fully kitted out right now. But you still have to spend a lot of resources.
So Eminosa says they've seen 3 Barretts and they have 1 friend with Barret. So we could look on the bot and see how many friends are set to Barret. So
Nice.
yeah, probably not a lot. How much of the Barret? No, I don't think Barret was like super sought after when he launched in Japan. But how much less do you think he was sought after, considering we got Bart, who kind of does what he does, but then does a whole bunch of other things better?
Oh, much, much less. I remember when Barret did launch in Japan, there was a lot of fuss about him actually, because 50% buff aura for attack and max brave at the time was unheard of. Right? If we had no foresight, that's the best we've ever seen. That's why I think like Barret's not a bad pick at all. I encourage new players to go for it because natural AoE plus people have already been showing the results of pairing Barret with other aura characters. If you pair him with Bart's, who we shouldn't have yet, you're giving the entire party more than 100% aura buff to attack and max brave. So you're doubling attack and max brave. You throw Kuja in there, who's already a strong DPS with his own aura of another 40% attack. That's 150% attack and 100% max brave across the board, basically. I know Kuja's 40%, but I'm just rounding up base. But the aura is very strong for now, and I know Rosa also comes with a 50% if you farm the artifacts as well. Same with Barret. But that 50% attack and max brave is no joke. I've seen people pairing him with Lilithset and Bart's already and getting huge numbers. I think he's pretty decent. It's just, foresight and knowing what's coming makes him a lot less valuable. But at the time, I know when Japan got him with 0 future knowledge, the buffs that he gave along with his decent brave shaving was seen as pretty insane. And then, Kuja dropped like a week later and his brave shaving was forgotten.
Yeah, I also did a search using MateriaBot, and there's 1 off-server Barret friend on the list. No on-server Barret friends. And also another thing I want to mention is that Arolai in chat mentioned that Barret banner is the best newbie banner in a long time, and that's true. You get a melee DPS with Tifa and her EX, which makes her really strong. You get a ranged party buffer DPS with Barret, which is really strong. And even without her EX weapon, Maria is pretty strong. Another range shaver who brings some party auras and can heal the party. Yeah. 3 really good characters right now. All of them solid if you don't have much.
Yeah, no, not a bad banner to pull on if you're starting out, that's for sure. 3 decent characters moving forward. What about Tifa EX? So Barret did not come with his EX, as we just said. So the EX on this banner is Tifa, who did not get any reworks, right? But has been awakened for a while. But she did get an EX. So what did her EX net her?
Her EX turned her from a very bad character to a very good character overnight. Besides getting a decently quick charging, it's a normal recharge rate EX weapon that launches. So she gets a launching EX. It also comes with a special frame buff called Fever Time, which basically makes it so she does massive damage on any of her abilities, including her EX, including beat rush, including her melee brave attacks, if she crits, which is 90% of the time she will crit, making it a lot easier for her to hit her HP conditionals on beat rush to trigger the HP attack. She also extends her own buffs from her battle cry when she uses her EX, so she doesn't have to waste turns battle crying as much anymore. And I'm not joking when I say I see Tifa's with Fever Time active doing 9999 brave damage 3 times with beat rush and just doing 30k damage every turn. It's crazy.
I think it's also the fastest launching EX we have right now. And everyone's saying with the buffs, the EX is going to do max damage every time.
Yes, and I will say that it is the fastest because Kayn and Zidane are the other launching EX, and they're both on slightly slow recharge rates.
Yeah, Tifa starts on normal, so yeah, that's good. That's good.
If you're a fan of Tifa and you want to use her and you want her to be good, you need the EX.
Yeah.
She's as I said before, she's not good without it. She needs to recharge her buffs frequently, like every 4 turns or so. Beat rush having an HP conditional on it is iffy, especially if she can't hit that HP conditional, which is 100% of her max brave, by the way. It's rough.
It's a good banner to pull on because not many people ever pulled on Tifa. Barret's a new character. No one really pulls on Maria. So honestly, almost everyone I've talked to said that they have none of these weapons MLB. So it's much safer to pump tickets into here because any 5-star will benefit you. And also, Tifa's rework in Japan, the EX Plus, is holding up very nicely too. Better than Kuja is. So honestly, it's a better... I don't want to say better investment, but because Kuja will be doing great for a while coming up, but it's not a bad pull at all if people get Tifa now, because I think that EX is usable now and definitely usable in the future.
Remind me what they just got Tifa's EX Plus, right?
Yeah.
So, you know.
And from when they got the EX, both times when Tifa EX dropped initially and when she gets her EX Plus, she becomes an amazing single target DPS, like right up there at the top.
Yeah,
I think she's going to be our best melee DPS until Sephiroth gets his awakening. Maybe I guess Furion and Onion Knight might unseat her once they get their reworks, but I'm not sure on that.
All right. Oh, what else on this event? We had a level 100 fight, which is 2 turtles. They have crystals in their shells. What are they called? Let me look it up as I'm right here. They are called jeweled turtles. They are weak to fire, wind, melee, and ranged. Those poor ass turtles are about weak to half the game. It was not a good time for them. Did you guys take on that battle, and did you find it particularly challenging?
It was very easy. The melee plus range weakness means a good chunk of the cast can be brought and just do massive damage. Even with their high defenses, they do not hold up well. Couple that with a couple of elemental weaknesses like fire and wind, and yeah, it's pretty easy to complete and get the high score. I think I missed the HP condition the first time I tried it blind. I went back and did it a little safer and got that.
Yeah, Bart's, Agrias, and Lizette did not find any issue with that particular battle. Mino, did you have a chance to take on that battle? And
I don't remember that fight at all.
There's 2 turtles.
I brought Bart. I brought Lilithette. I don't remember who my third was. Maybe Ake. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't remember that fight at all. Skip me.
I think my team was Locke, Bart's, Lilithette, so close to yours, Mark. And again, it was pretty straightforward. As I said, I got the score the first time. I missed the HP condition. I went back, played it a little safer, got the HP condition. It was pretty straightforward for me.
I don't have all of Macnol's video guides pulled up, but I imagine, and I've been really busy this week, so I haven't been watching everybody's videos. But I imagine, yeah, you could take a lot of different characters with the 2 elemental weaknesses and the ranged and melee weakness. And obviously you can launch both of them and a whole bunch of other stuff. The main gimmick with them is they go into their shell, they can pop back off, they can remove all debuffs, give themselves crazy amount of brave. I think they can get up to 36,000 brave, which Bart's just demolishes. Bart's is the ultimate brave shaver. So if you have Bart's, even without his EX, that's just his 35 and his awakening can shave brave like nobody's business. So yeah, I think Bart's early Bart's really helped nerf the turtles. Yeah.
Even if you don't have Bart's, you have other options. Yuffie's been a popular character for the last couple of events. She can shave brave like nothing else. You can dig back and pull out Gilgamesh to shave brave if you want, or you can just turn to Jacked. He works really well for this since he hits fire and melee weakness.
Yeah, double weakness.
He will destroy the he destroys the turtles in the co-op. I haven't seen any runs with him used for the EX, but I'm sure he was used.
You know, obviously Maria and Barret and Tifa, but other characters that are ranged like Kayn and Zaz are options too to shave that brave. So yeah. Agrias, yes, Agrias is pretty much good for anything right now. She's definitely top tier. Ariel is saying Zidane is really strong too because of the launch and the speed down. So good, and he does have some brave shaving as well. So and the co-op is just the same. It's 2 turtles, and since I don't have any synergy characters, I just go in just for fun, and I bring Kuja without his EX weapon before his EX even launched, and I was doing co-ops against those magic resistant turtles. So everybody who was doing that with me was just having a great time watching Kuja kill the turtles, even though they had magic resistance. So that was fun.
I've been using a 0 LB 35 CP Maria, no 15 CP passive, fully awakened, and just her 1 LB 35 CP armor piece. And even in that state, she destroys those turtles in the co-op.
Yeah.
She just batteries so much, and she provides some nice attack and physical attack up buffs to the party. Yeah, she's a monster in the co-op. Even if you just have a dinky weapon, if she's fully awakened, she can do work.
Macnol is saying that Kate Sith was very popular in his video analysis because, of course, Kate Sith does melee and melee damage overflow with toy soldier. So yeah, Kate Sith does love the melee weakness. So a lot of people were bringing Kate Sith. That was a good idea. I didn't do that. Zyros did a run with Galoff, Bartz, and Lightning. Of course, Lightning and Galoff hit that, and Galoff does a lot of good stuff too these days. So yeah, awesome. Well, enjoy that time because we've had 2 other events drop since Barret. It seems like only yesterday that Barret was launching because it was just a few days ago. But since then, we've had 2 other events. The first is the second set of Heretic events, Power and Magic Chasm Theta, Catalyst, and Rising. So surprise, surprise, our first level of Heretics was 4 levels, and then the EX battle. This was 8 different fights, 40 and 80 difficulty, and then you had to do those 8 with all unique characters to unlock the final stage. So that means you needed 24 different characters to get perfect scores and to unlock the level 100. So what did you guys think of Power and Magic Chasm Theta?
I liked it a lot. All the praise I gave to the previous Heretics goes double for here because it's double the stages. I would the 24 characters is great for veterans. I got to pull out a lot of characters I never used, like Kayn. I felt like Kayn was useful again for a very short while. But there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there were complaints on Reddit that this event was biased against new players. People are saying they started as early as January this year and couldn't field the 24 characters.
I could
Yeah.
see that. I could see that easily. Yeah.
January, and that is rough because that's 5 months of playing and not being able to get 24 characters. So I guess I could kind of understand that. Maybe depends on how focused they were with their polls, right?
Yeah, if they were focused polling, like only pulling on one banner a month, then they're only getting 3 characters geared up a month, potentially,
Yeah.
maybe even less, depending on how little they pull, and that creates
Right.
problems. I like this Heretic event because I pulled some characters out of my pocket that I had barely touched since their events. For example, I used Alice for the Magic and Wind Chasm stage. I used Leon for the Earth&Dark stage, and I in fact used Fang for the Range&Thunder stage.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know if it was the intention, but it was really rewarding for veteran players who have collected some of these weapons. I know a lot of hoarders also complained, saying that the ones that are doing targeted pulls for only meta said they had a very difficult time with this as well. Because, again, fielding 24 characters, if you're only pulling for every meta hotness, you're not going to have a well-rounded roster. But again, from a business standpoint for Square Enix, that's ingenious because, kind of punishing hoarders, which I think is what they always try to do when they shake things up.
And again, this isn't a 1 or 2 week event. This is a whole month.
Yeah, right.
So there's going to be a lot of enticing characters coming later, already here and coming later this month, that can help make it easier to get through all of these Heretic fights and make it to the end stage.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were saying that they couldn't do the final stage, and then once Kuja dropped, they just brought a Kuja friend and they could knock it out of the park. So, I mean, we've said this from the beginning, that it also incentivizes people to keep pulling throughout the month as well. As for the final stage, I heard, I don't know, I used the meta again, because we're talking about Bart's and Agrius for the last one, but people are saying this is easier with them but harder without them, but I have no experience with that.
Penguin SX in chat is saying the main issue is that for us new player, we might have sacrificed non-meta characters' weapons to get enough power stones to level up the EX we got, not knowing any better, and that is fair. However, this is one of my major suggestions for any new players listening to this podcast. Never, ever sell a weapon until you unlock the weapon passive, and try to keep weapons available for all the characters, just in case something like this happens where you might have to dig into your pocket and use a character that you don't think you will be using. It's not worth the short-term investment to get those extra power stones in most cases than it is to lose that weapon for good.
I agree 100%, and as someone who, generally speaking, MLBs all of their weapons on characters that they use, I have all kinds of weapons un-MLB'd, it's not necessarily necessary to MLB all your weapons. So
at this stage of the game, I don't think you need an MLB EX. The only thing it does at this point is make the recast a little faster.
Not for everyone. For Kuja, you do not get the Brave Plus or HP Plus if it is not MLB.
Oh, yeah. Moving forward with the newer ones. But I'm saying, like, everything before this, the only benefit you really get is slightly more damage, I think. And
Agrius had her silence tied to an upgrade.
Really?
Passive upgrade,
I didn't know. Okay.
They've been going this way for a little while now. This is not new.
That's fair. But this game is cyclical with its buffs. They have tuning passes every year where they come back and buff every character in the roster. So someone who's bad now could be amazing later, and we've already seen that because we're over a year in. We're gonna see that as we go again. So, like, in this game, don't ignore anyone. And it's so frustrating when I see people do that too, because so many people I know, like, sold Waka or Saz's weapons because memes, and then they became powerful, and then they regret it so much. It's just everything in this game is cyclical. Don't count anyone out forever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I think it was Pierre that sold Zaz's. No, but that, I would definitely, I understand the idea of wanting to get those characters max limit broke. But yeah, I would definitely.
Wadabu says Cater isn't cyclical. Wadabu, I'll see you when she gets her EX plus.
Yeah,
I'm holding you to that. I'm writing that on my list of things to rub in Watabu's face, just like Saw's EX that he was predicting for a long time.
But just to make sure just to use real world examples we've had from the past month, Thancred, no one wanted to use him until he got his EX and Awakening rework at the beginning of April. And then all of a sudden people were regretting selling his weapons back on the Selfie banner. Bartz gets his rework and people were regretting selling his weapons months ago when they got them on the Gilgamesh banner. And it bit them in the ass. Do not sell weapons unless you have the weapon passes. I agree. I would suggest not selling any 35 CP weapons unless you get the EX for that character.
And just because Japan, that character didn't do well in Japan when they got rework, etc., doesn't mean we might not get an early rework like Bart's Thancred. Exactly. So
exactly. I want to say that because Watabu says Cater is never good based on JP. Well, based on JP, Thancred never shined either. We got him super early.
If we get Cater's rework tomorrow.
Yeah, same with Saw's. You know, Saw's is trash in JP
Saw's
forever.
Was never good in Japan.
And he was a god to us, so never count him out.
So we were talking about hoarders, and Illuminasa said I was called a hoarder last night, so I wanted to check and see how many gems Illuminasa had, and they say 167,000. Illuminasa, we have a couple people on our on our Discord server. One of whom has 450,000 and one of whom has 570,000 gems.
150 is not hoarder status. I would say anything 250 and over.
So I don't think you have to consider yourself a hoarder or feel bad for the healthy number of gems that you have, because the hardcore hoarders are struggling, but they also have 500,000. So. So I really liked this event. I didn't even bring the non-max limit broke. I only brought max limit broke characters. I thankfully have around 30 max limit broke characters because I've pulled throughout the game.
I've been the same way. I've been pulling throughout the game. As I said, I have Fang. I have Alice. I tried running Gilgamesh, but I had to shift him out to make a party composition that worked better for the melee wave. But I tried to make him work. He would have worked if I was a better player. A lot of characters that people have basically thrown by the wayside for a very long time are useful again for this event because you get locked out. You can't use the same 3 characters for everything here.
Yeah, I liked it. Just touching back on what I said last week, rewards veterans and doubles down on pressure for new characters and hoarders to pull more throughout to get the clear. I mean, obviously you don't have to. You can ignore this if you want, but it's in Square Enix's best interest that you pull. So this is a great way to reward players and pressure them at the same time. Not saying it's great for us players, but saying from a business standpoint, it's pretty ingenious. And I can't wait for next month when they give us 30 Sage Heretics.
And no one has enough characters to do it.
30 Sage Heretics.
You're pulling Cater off the bench and using her.
You don't even have to run full 3 teams. You can just run like 2 characters for some of these stages, It's possible. Oh, and then with all the OP friends now, like if you just bring Kuja, I bet you could run 2 characters for these 80s. Bring a Kuja or Quistis friend for every single one and probably blow it out of the water.
I'm not so sure about Kuja. Some of these waves are very resistant to magic, and I think he would be blunted too much. But maybe you're...
he does do a ridiculous amount of damage. So some of them, their resistance really doesn't matter. But for the bosses, it might. I do want to talk about a couple strategies. If you're looking for particular level-by-level strategies, Macnol has been working on his video guide and actually has a lot of data in terms of who's bringing what to what. And I think that's going to be helpful moving forward. But just a couple strategies. If you do not have enough characters to get the perfect on all 8 and unlock, especially, well, for either one of them, but especially for the level 80, bring your best team to each one and clear it, and then reset it, and then clear it again, and get the tickets. So even if you can't get that final stage unlocked, you're still getting all of the tickets and all the rewards for the previous 8. And that's a lot of stuff. So even if you have to bring your 3 best characters and or best 6, whatever combination to beat all of those things, do it. Just because you get your characters locked out and you can't figure out how to unlock the final boss doesn't mean that you shouldn't finish all the other ones until that. Moving on from there with just some general strategies, I'll say what I do, and I think you guys had some different strategies. So I went and found the ones with the highest score requirement first, which I believe was like the Holy&Ghost Chasm Rising, which was like 200,000. So I went and found whatever had the highest score requirement, and I beat that one first. And so I went from hard to easiest, but I think some of my co-hosts may have done it a little bit differently. So that was my strategy. I will say, given that strategy, I forgot to use one of my best characters in that 24-man roster. Any guess which character I didn't use to complete any of these 8 events?
Bart's.
Yeah, completely forgot to use Bart's. Like, screw Bart's. I didn't use Orin either, so 2 of my EXs I just left on the bench.
That sucks.
Yeah, I had heard that the Holy&Ghost one was pretty nasty, so I think I did that one second, and I intentionally left Vaughn and Aiko on the side to clear that. I also brought along a Sabin with a 0 OB35 CP, and he did enough damage to help. But I basically started from the bottom of the list and worked my way up. And I noted that the Range&Thunder and the Holy&Ghost were probably the ones that were some of the trickier ones, with melee right behind that, because I used my better melee on the Power and Mannequin Chasm.
I did the most specialized ones first, so like Ice, Earth&Dark, Holy&Ghost, because very few characters cover those. So I did those first and worked my way back to the most common ones. Like Malady I did last, because it feels like anyone can do that. Melee I did second to last, etc. The only ones I had to redo were the Ice and the Ghost ones. Those felt like Mark said, I didn't even notice, but they had the highest scores. So I actually had to bring a launcher to the Ghost one, inflate my score, and the Ice one, I think maybe a Lale friend as well. But I had to launch and inflate my score, because even with people doing max damage, it was still a struggle the first time running it to hit that score.
I think I brought a Lale to Ice Chasm when I got the complete 2. I don't remember. I actually tried first on Ice. I remember I actually had to reset it because I died the first time I tried trying to carry through an Onion Knight that I'm not happy with Onion Knight right now. He still sucks until he gets his rework. And I ended up swapping Snow in for Onion Knight. That's how dissatisfied I was with him.
I think you've not completed the level 100 crease. I believe
I have completed it, but I have not gotten the high score yet. I've only done 1 blind run, and I was not able to find a friend Kuja to cheese it, so no friend Kuja was used.
I brought, just to give you, and I think Mino did the same thing, I brought Bart's, Agrias, Kate Sith, Agrias friend. I was trying to look at Amaterasu. Some of his non-meta runs were like Kate Sith, Selfie Vaughn. And then there is one strategy, because now he has all of his Kuja. His high score on Kuja right now, just looking at his videos. Amaterasu is a good friend of ours on our Discord, and he does YouTube, so check him out on YouTube. 479 on the Kuja LC with no Kuja, so that's pretty fun.
Just to mention what my team was for the Heretic Theta EX, my blind run was Bart's, Locke, and Lillicet, and as I said, it went well. I was a little off the high score by, I think, about 6,000 points, and it was mostly me grinding to a halt because I couldn't find a good magically based friend to get through that Malboro at the end, and it slowed me down.
Yeah.
I forgot what I did. Bart's, Kate Sith, somebody. Yep. And then I remember I used friend Vaughn for... Is this the one with the antlion? God, they're all blurring together for me now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
No, wait.
So,
yes?
Is it?
There's no antlion.
That was in Delta.
Whatever.
Heretic Theta had a 2-lich wave. It had a double prototype or Omega type weapon.
Maryland.
And the final wave was a Malboro Ultima weapon.
Yep. So,
whatever. I killed everything. And then the popular strats now are either bring a Kuja friend to wipe out things, or the worth mentioning is the The cheese strat that has been helping a lot of people clear it that couldn't is that Merilith in the second to last wave throws a I forgot what the debuff name is already. Absolute something. I'm gonna say absolute chaos. And
yeah, absolute chaos inflicts poison, max brave down, and max HP down.
Yeah, and the max HP down is 4/5 HP down. So what people have been doing is just bringing a Yuffie friend, replacing the person that Merilith is going to target on the second turn, because that's when she casts it, then throwing it on the final wave on the Marlboro and the Ultima weapon. And boom, that's 4/5, that's 80% of their HP gone already. You finish it off, and yeah, that's the very, very easy way to do it.
That's not, people have been calling that the cheesy way. That's literally what Yuffie is meant for. So, I mean, that's just good strategy.
This isn't the first time that strategy's been used. There was a Heretic back in January or February, I can't remember where there was a Kefka boss that did HP down, max HP down, and people were using that to have Yuffie take the debuff, and then throw it back at the next wave.
Yeah, Yuffie's great. I'm being a fan just because of all the memes now. Honestly,
I have not max limit broke my Yuffie, but I do just randomly got both of her weapons. So it's one of those things that's on my to-do list, is to both Yuffie and I think Galoff are two that I wouldn't mind having max limit broke, because they do have some fun uses.
Yeah, Arole is saying she's probably one of the most entertaining characters. She's gained meme status on global because all the other meme characters got buffed.
Yeah,
like
she also was the last character for us to get a 35 CP, making her the worst character for a long time.
So bad in GL, but at least she has company in JP. Saz always got buffs at the same time as Yuffie until the 70 era. They got their 35 at the same time. They got their 60 Awakenings at the same time. And I think a few others as well were also always as bad as Yuffie, like Cater and stuff, who... But in GL, a lot of them got early buffs, so I guess Yuffie was forever stuck at the bottom. He's getting... her mechanics are interesting. I like it. And her recent EX Plus in Japan is super interesting as well. Unless someone else adopts the same mechanic, I might pity her when she comes around. Just a sneak peek is she has a unique debuff that prevents enemies from getting brave from batteries and buffing themselves. And that's very, very cool.
I will also point out something that Final Character 7 said in Twitch chat. Yuffie had the worst base kit in the game for a long while.
That is true.
That is true. Her base kit was god-awful. And she did get her buffs early for us compared to Japan. She got them on Cryle's last chapter release, whereas I don't think Japan got them until she got an Awakening or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I think so.
Very nice. Well, all in all, as we've said, I really like the Heretic, Theta, and Delta, and I really like to use different variety of characters. I've liked the fact that there was no synergy for these. It'll be interesting to see because, like I said, I haven't been following here this week because I've been pretty busy with work and other things. If people are struggling with the EX, I've not heard that, but if you are, join our Discord and we'll help you out. We've got a lot of great players on there besides the three of us who are always,
I'm not a great player.
Who are always running over and over and over and over again. Just different combinations and different strategies. And of course, Macnol is one of our dear friends, and he's compiling that list and checking it twice and going to find out who's clearing the content or not. So that's not all, though. We have one more event, and that is the Lost Chapter taking the Gods stage with the hyped, overhyped, underhyped. It's cool not to like Kuja, or it isn't cool not to. I'm really not sure where we stand anymore with all the conversations that's gone around this character named Kuja. So,
Kreese, do you want to walk us through the buffs he got and his EX?
what the hell?
Sure, I'll break down what his Awakening does for him first, and then I'll break down what his EX does for him. So Kuja's Awakening, aside from the general stat buffs and potency increases, does a couple of big things. First of all, it makes it so he gets 4 Soul Cleave stacks on ability use instead of 3, which means now he only needs to use 1 ability, and he's at Soul Cleave stack sufficient to use his empowered abilities, which is pretty big. And he gets an HP attack on Holy Ring Plus. So that is not just a Brave Shave anymore. Note that the normal Holy Ring still does not have an HP attack attached to it, so be careful. And other than that, Ring Holy is now 6 Brave hits rather than 3. Ultima Plus, the second cast of Ultima on Ultima Plus is a lot stronger now. I think the total potency between the two is 450 total attack potency between the 2 HP hits.
I'm not sure.
It's pretty high.
It's very high for a for
yeah, you wrote the evaluation. Where are your numbers, Kreese?
I don't have the evaluation pulled
look
up
it
right
up.
now.
It's really quite high. Let me tell you.
Either way, it basically gives him the strongest attack on an ability in the game. And yeah, it's on his basic ability that has to be empowered. He can't do it every turn. He can do it every other turn. But it's impressive. And as I said, this is on an AoE attack. It's pretty much unheard of for us to have this strong an attack, period. It's insane. It does have the downside where, unlike most AoE Brave plus HP attacks, there's no 1.6 attack multiplier if it's targeting a single target, so it's always better in AoE situations.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. But his EX is where he really shines. His EX does several things for him. First of all, he gets a Brave plus and an HP plus that make it so that they're better, and they grant 2 stacks of Soul Cleave. So he can now, instead of using his abilities to get Soul Cleave stacks, he can get more Soul Cleave stacks from his Brave and HP. Note that in his base kit, Brave and HP attacks only give him 1 Soul Cleave stack. So turning it into 2 means you can spend 2 turns to build up your Soul Cleave stacks without wasting abilities if you need to. The other thing it does is that his EX ability for Symphony gives him a buff called Dark Messenger, which makes it that he no longer loses Soul Cleave stacks when he uses his empowered abilities, which basically gets rid of his big weakness. It's also a party aura buff, so it provides a 40% attack buff to the party and also a speed buff to the party, along with being a decently strong AoE Brave plus HP attack that does full HP damage to all targets. It's basically the best of all worlds is the best way to put it. And basically, once he's used Force Symphony once, he can just spam abilities with impunity and deal crazy amounts of damage every turn. And that's where Kuja shines right now. He is now our strongest mage in the game, DPS-wise.
General rotation tips and team members?
I don't know if I have good rotation tips. If you are trying to quickly build up Soul Cleave stacks before Force Symphony is used, so early on before the EX charges, and you need to do HP damage, use Ultima first. Remember, Ring Holy does not have an HP attack on it until you use its plus form. So if you need to just do damage and you don't have Dark Messenger active, use regular Ultima, Ring Holy plus. At least that's what I've been doing with my X-less Kuja. Other suggestions are use Force Symphony as soon as possible so you can go crazy with your buffs. Kuja benefits from party buffers. He brings his own magic attack and max Brave up buffs, but he benefits from party auras. And really he wants more damage. Just to make sure.
So, like Barret.
He works great with Barret, yeah.
Yeah. Star Shadow saying in GL, Dark Messenger buff got translated Darkness of Eternity, named after the English name of Transkuja's battle theme. Very cool piece of trivia.
Oh yeah, that is cool. As I said, I didn't get the EX weapon despite trying very hard, so I have not had a chance to look at it carefully.
Yeah, and just on a different take, but again, I don't have Kuja EX either, so I'm not using him extensively. but I'm not sure how ideal it is. I vary my tactic by what the enemy is. Sometimes I feel like using Ultima just to give Ring, Holy, and HP attack isn't worth it for me. I'd rather have double Ultima. I think that does more damage on a single target, or even, I don't know.
Depends.
I prefer to buffer.
The problem with you should always use, if you're bringing him in as a friend or you're using him regularly, you should always use Ultima first, because Ultima gives him the self buffs. So unless you have another buffer who is giving him better buffs, it gives him magic up and max brave up, which he needs. So even if you have another buffer who's giving him max brave up, he's still getting that magic up, which is nice. And likely you're not having a buffer who's giving max brave up, magic up, and attack up. Although that is possible. What's Ash give? Ash would give.
Ash gives magic attack up and max brave up, and the only other source of party magic attack up is Deuce.
Yeah, so Deuce could be a good option. I don't have her, so I don't know, but I would probably stay away from Ash, and find some other max brave, or he doesn't really need attack, especially with his EX, but the max brave is really nice, and the buffs are even better because he does give himself a max brave buff with Ultima. So if you can have party buffers like Lilizette and Selfie, Barret and Bart's, that's going to be much more ideal. But yeah, I would always do Ultima first because that gives him the buffs. But if you're like, for this enemy who is weak to Holy, you're going to want to do Ring Holy Plus because it does the overflow.
That's another thing I forgot to mention.
Overflow. So Ring Holy Plus is doing 40,000-50,000 damage in a regular thing. Now, if you're going against 3 characters, the Ultima Plus is going to be great. So he can do a lot of different types of damage. But there is some setup, and I've heard some people complaining about, he's not great in off the gate, nor is any other character we have right now, right? Like Bart's doesn't just go in, Locke doesn't just go in, Thancred doesn't just go in, like everybody, Agrias doesn't just, like everybody needs a couple turns to set up. We don't have a lot of characters who are just like in first turn doing, although he does do fairly massive damage with his normal abilities. But yeah, everybody needs a few turns. The issue, so I mean, you could take it so you're doing, you're doing Brave Attack, HP Attack Plus, then you get Soul Cleave 4, then you can use one of his abilities. If you're really playing conservatively, that's how you can do. But remember, HP Attack Plus and Brave Attack Plus fill up the EX gauge about an eighth, I believe, whereas one of your abilities brings it up about a quarter. So if you use 4 of his abilities, he's going to charge his EX, and that's what you really want to do with Kuja. You want his EX as soon as possible. So if you're going through a harder content, basically spam Ultima on all the mobs and just use Ultima until he gets his EX, and then then you get then you have his EX activated, and it takes again about 3 or 4 turns to get his EX reactivated. So then you just spam abilities until you get, and he's got a pretty good chunk of abilities sitting at 14 ability uses. So
yeah. Mark, as the only one of us who got Kuja's EX, by the way, how many pulls did it take you again?
4.
4. Did you submit any tickets?
All of them. Yes. Yeah, so
how many?
I went down to 0 tickets. I think I had 160.
Okay.
I got like 6 off-banner weapons. I think I limit broke Edge's 15 CP. He's not on this banner, right? Anyway.
I welcome off banners at this point.
No, me
looking
too.
ahead the next few months,
because I had
all of the on-banner ones are MLB, so I'll take those off banners. But so Kuja, as the only person who got Kuja's. Oh, by the way, I hate you less now, knowing it took you 160 tickets on top of the 4 pulls. That's pretty average. But as the only person who has it and has probably run Kuja at full potential, what do you think? Overhyped, underhyped? What is your final verdict?
I think he's really powerful. I mean, that's the bottom line. Right now, he's really powerful. I think as long as we don't get magic resistant bosses. He's going to be really powerful. He's going to be great to destroy mobs. He's going to be a great friend unit to bring in to destroy mobs, to try to eat up a few extra turns, or get a few extra turns if you're looking for a clear. Yeah, and he does massive damage. So, I mean, he's going to be a great person to have in your party, especially as we're going to get Heretics now moving forward. So, is he necessary? Not necessarily. I think there are characters who are going to have more utility now and going forward, like Bart's. I think Bart's and Lizette right now have tons of utility. I actually think Agrias has tons of utility. But in terms of raw damage, right now Kuja's got the damage until we get Rinoa, and Rinoa has her own little things to overcome. So if you like Kuja more than Rinoa, then it's probably not a bad idea to pull for Kuja. If you're willing to wait for Golbez or Rinoa, because Golbez is great too, right? So,
but ultimately, does he meet the hype for you?
Oh yeah, no, I think he's great.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And shoot, what's next? His LC EX, right?
Yes.
Yep, we have to talk about that.
So he has, yes, I'm sorry, Macno. I used 160 tickets first, and then I did 4 multi-pulls. So 160 tickets and 20,000 gems. That is my investment on Kuja. So I'm under 200,000 gems. So you can feel sorry for me at a later time.
You lucky bastard. I think we all attempted the Kuja LC
Literally
EX.
just beat it seconds before we started streaming.
Did you get the score mark? I forget.
I did. My blind attempt, and I just brought, because I was like running through it as fast as I can. I brought Kuja, Selfie, and Kuja, Selfie, Lilizette with a brothers, which probably not ideal. Brothers summon and Kuja friend, and I forgot to summon my Kuja friend until the end because I wasn't paying attention. And I beat it in 29 turns with a score of 282,000. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
and
so
then so I'll cover it really quick because I think I had the most time on it. I remember doing a blind run as soon as it dropped, and I missed the score by quite a bit. I think 50K, and then I tried some launch comps and other things. I was always short about 10 to 5K, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. Enter Amaterasu, who started experimenting right away. He found so many ways to beat this, and I just wanted to see that it was this easy by trying several of the team comps he threw forward. But basically, he said, first and foremost, what a lot of people on Reddit and the Discord have been posting is the easiest way to do this is call a Kuja friend, have him wipe out all the trash waves, and get you to the final wave. And almost any decent team can take it from there, because it should only take Kuja less than 10 turns to carry you to the final wave. He should overkill everything because they're all weak to him, and he has synergy. And he should make a joke of the mid-boss. So that's the most common way people have been getting through this. The other way Amaterasu found and I tested is classic launch comp. 2 batteries plus double lail plus pandemonium will get you the score. Pretty decently too. And the final thing he said is pure DPS. He did a Bart Setzer. Dang, I can't remember the last one. But what Bart Setzer someone, I'll look it up, with friend Setzer. And you just have Setzer red card nonstop, and Bart's do damage, and then you'll get the score as well. Pure burn. And so I started to realize, well, I'll get to that in a bit, but there's apparently a lot of ways to do this. Do you guys have anything to add on that EX strategy, Kreese?
As I said, I've only done one blind run. I was about 50k short, but while I brought a friend Kuja, I tried using him in the final wave rather than trying to speed up the trash waves, because I didn't realize what the score requirement was before I began. So I did well. I got about 200k, but I was 50k short because I just spent too many turns on trash, and I haven't had a chance to go back and do it yet. So I'm going to do the friend Kuja on trash, blow up everything strategy to get through it.
it will 100% work if you're getting, because you're the same as me. The first blind run you did, you were 50k short, and I was also asking, what am I doing wrong? The answer is these trash waves are taking way too long. They are decently difficult trash waves too. The boss itself, I think most everyone's able to burn before he summons the ads. And the same with the mid bosses. If you just kill it and then ignore the ads, you'll get through fine as well.
Yeah, we're seeing scores of 500,000. So there are.
Oh
obviously...
yeah, I mean, if you have a Kuja and or a friend Kuja, this fight's over. It's a joke. And I mean, completing the fight itself without hitting the score is pretty easy too, right? Like in one go.
I would think so.
Yeah, I didn't find it too difficult to complete with my strategy of just summoning friend Kuja, but I also have an MLB X-less Kuja, and I have a near MLB Setzer that helped me out quite a bit.
So before we go on, we have a couple of events that just launched as we're speaking. The first is a new weekly banner, a campaign banner for our World of Illusion weapons. So we just lost Cloud and who else was on that? Cloud and Hope. And so we just got Laguna and Zidane as
Zidane,
our...
right?
Yeah. Yep. And Zidane, his is a party aura that raises max brave and attack when inflicting debuffs with his abilities, so that's not too bad. And Laguna's is raises party int brave and speed when his HP is max. So both of them are party auras. Both of them are decent on characters that are probably not getting a lot of use right now, but they're both pretty decent World of Illusion weapons, so it might be worth the 2,500 pull. I've got more tickets. How did I get tickets?
There are more tickets in the co-op shop,
nice.
And there's also new time-limited missions with this co-op. The co-op includes facing a double Archaeoaevis or double ferocious Avian wave and two Archaeoaevis. If you kill 15 Archaeoaevis in the next week, you can get a Power Stone.
Nice.
I might do a pull here because I don't have Zidane's 35. I have his EX, and his World of Illusion might be nice because, as we were just talking about before the show, Zidane is synergy for the very first Cosmos, and I might have to lean hard on him because I don't want to pull for Freya or VIII when that comes.
Are you going to pull?
I think I might. I think I'm going to do it.
There are more tickets in the co-op shop now, so if you're like me and you're looking for tickets after you bleed through your whole stash, you can get those.
I might throw these extra tickets in. I can't. I'll split them evenly between the Barret and the Kuja banner. Their EX, I'll be happy with, honestly. So it is confirmed that it's the same shop, right? The same co-op shop.
It is the same.
It is the same co-op shop.
Great.
More tickets, more gems, more potions, more armor tokens. And now Zidane and Laguna arts. So there you go.
Damn it. Macnol's saying, PSA, the tokens for the first part of the Crossroads of Illusions co-ops roll over into the next week. I should have saved them.
Yeah.
I think I dumped all my extra ones. Oh my god.
Yeah,
so from here on, I'm just going to farm the shit out of this one.
As I just
and then
listened
not do
to
the
last
rest.
week's show on the way home from a meeting, I literally said... Don't spend your tokens. We'll probably get new things. Don't waste your tokens on, lower tier crystals. Anyway, so.
Okay, so going back to Kuja, after covering this recent one, I was hoping I'd be more drunk by the time we reached this part. I was not drinking hard enough. I only had a beer and a half. I should have hit hard liquor, but there are some things I want to address that there's been heavy debate. Like, as Mark has been saying, there's a lot of hype around Kuja this entire week, and there's been heavy debate. So there's more than like a handful of threads on Reddit talking about this. So I want to preface this by saying I hate telling people how to pull. I'll never say you should pull this. And Kreese agrees with me because he's writing the evals and he faced a similar problem I did where people were saying you should include a should I pull section and say, is this character worth pulling for? And Kreese and I both said that it's always contextual. It's up to you how you pull. Favorites are more important, etc. But
before you continue, I'll just preface this and say that while I do not include should you pull sections, I put in a whole spiel at the end of my Kuja analysis discussing what Kuja means and whether he is worth pulling for. And it contextualizes it in the current content we're dealing with, the difficulty of the content we're dealing with, and what's coming in the future, something I usually do not discuss in my evaluations. You can go and read that. I felt I was relatively fair in breaking down what Kuja means right now.
Right. And so I wanted to preface that because the only thing I want to address is that I want to correct a lot of the misconceptions or bad arguments I feel like are being made on this topic. The two in particular. One is, why are people saying pull Rinoa over Kuja? They last about the same amount of time, which is a month and a half of 2 months of viability. So they're equal. I want to address that misconception. And the other one saying that Kuja is on the same power level as Rinoa. Because as I've been saying throughout the week, a lot of this is going to be repeated from things I've been saying on Discord. But I feel like these next 2 months until Cosmos officially drops is garbage time. If you're unfamiliar with the sports term garbage time, it's the time at the end of the game when the score is already pretty much decided and they're just killing time until the game's over and the clock runs out. And this is garbage time because we know Cosmos is coming up because of Foresight. That's the unfortunate curse of GL. And without that Foresight, we would see Kuja as this whole new level of power creep that is unforeseen and amazing, and we would think he's the next coming. But because of the Foresight, we know stronger characters are coming up. And people think he lasts a month and a half, just like Rinoa will. The difference is the month and a half that Kuja lasts cuts off once the new power creep hits Cosmos, while Rinoa actually leaks into Cosmos. So she survives a much bigger power creep than Kuja does. And the reason I bring this up is because as we're starting to see, is content has been trivialized and will be until Cosmos hits. As we've been seeing, all the EX battles are a joke now. You see Locke, Barret, and even Kuja EX. You can do it with old characters, no problem. There's tons of solutions. You do not need any of this new overpowered crap. Let's be perfectly honest. And I'll guarantee you, moving forward for the next 2 months, the complaint was that it was a dead game because all the content was so easy. I want to compare it to the 50 era, right before Awakenings. So all global players should know we got EXs early, right? Like Kuja early. Whereas they only started hitting when Awakenings started coming. Imagine the 50 era without those early EXs, which I believe was tuned towards SAS 35. Would you guys agree?
It was definitely tuned towards SAS 35 because I barely completed any of them.
Right.
And I did not have SAS.
Yeah. So imagine that those entire 3 months of only doing 50 level 50 events, and you wouldn't have to pull for 3.5 months. That's why they put in the EXs, incentivize you to pull. Imagine the Lena, Sephiroth, Sid hell month of GL, where we felt compelled to pull for those characters because those EX battles that did not exist in JP existed, and we were forced to keep up. Imagine if it was just the level 50 characters. I mean, the level 50 battles, and everyone would have skipped Rydia, would have skipped Sid. Sephiroth was great, but not necessary. Lena wasn't doing any favors. She was only needed for her event. And if GL didn't tamper, there would be no need to pull at all. And that's what's happening here. At least we had early EXs then. We don't have any early difficult content now. The only the only curves they're throwing us are the Heretics, which are GL exclusive, and the EXs are decently difficult. So I don't blame people for pulling for that. But if you ignore that, content has been insanely easy. And for the next month and a half, it's going to continue at the same rate. All the EXs are insanely easy. You ask any JP player, they'll say, oh, when Rinoa released, she could solo her EX stage. But they'll also say Rinoa's EX stage was a joke and you could do duo teams on it. So, like, content is not hard. So even though Kuja seems amazing, the argument I'm making against is you don't need it. And the characters from here on are only getting stronger and stronger. Golbez is on Kuja's level, slightly stronger. And you're going to have Renoa, Freya, etc. Well, not Freya. We'll go before that. But there's a lot of characters who's just going to blow the content out of the water. And I feel like it's a trap, almost. Because these characters... If you ask JP players, if you look up the videos of the first Cosmos, you won't see Kuja and Golbez anywhere. Renoa will make the cut for a little bit. But here we're getting sold these characters that are seemingly OP, but not necessary in the least. You could skip all of these characters in the next 2 months and clear all content in the next 2 months. You can gear up for Cosmos coming up. I would argue Quistis is much, much stronger than Kuja because of the utility she's going to bring. But Kuja, who's straight up DPS, is going to get power creeped hard coming up. So again, I'm not saying don't pull for Kuja. If Kuja's a favorite, that's great too. I pull for favorites too. There's that whole Kane incident that is always brought up every week. But if you're a meta chaser, please don't feel compelled to do this. And please don't think you're going to need this to keep up. This is dead time where they're just treading water until Cosmos comes. And then... starting with Renoa, characters will become much more Cosmos viable. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to jump in because you've been going for a little while.
Yeah, sorry.
I would expect to see more global exclusive content like the Heretics next month as well. We might get more of the Heretics just like this, just revised versions of them to go for all of June. And these are things that are supposed to last all month. They're supposed to entice you to pull. They're supposed to incentivize having a wider roster, so you aren't just hoarding for one or two specific characters. You have to have enough characters to complete everything.
That's true, and that's the perfect counter. If GL throws more curveballs at us, I can be completely wrong, and Kuja will be much more necessary. But I doubt it because I feel like they cut out that early EX stuff after the Hell Month. And they got that all that feedback, and I think they realized that was a bad idea because they didn't balance it well, and people were pretty pissed. So I think I
remember your infamous post where you looked at the stats for the EX fights we were having, and they were way too high for what level 50 characters could deal with at the time. It's the reason
they didn't balance it. Yeah, and I'm saying even if they do come out with early Cosmos, the thing is, starting with Renoa. Or, you can include Lena and Quistis, who are Cosmos viable. We're going to start getting Cosmos viable characters extremely soon. So even if they hit, Kuja, I would still argue is skippable because very soon we're getting characters that'll last into Cosmos. So even if they throw these early curveballs at us, they can't mess up the plans too much since Cosmos is a month and a half away. Whereas EXs, they threw at us 3 months early, which is a pretty different story. But I'm saying... please don't feel pressured to pull for some of these characters coming up. I guarantee you every week when Golbez comes out, when Rosa comes out, it'll be, this character is amazing. They're way stronger than anything that came before. But I
don't think you should feel pressure to pull on any character. It depends on what your... it's good to see you, Shara. It depends on what your roster is, too. If you have 2 or 3, if you have Bartz and Agrias, if you have Locke, if you have Thancred, you have a few good supports. Yeah, I think MINO's 100% right that you're going to be okay. If you're missing some good characters right now, Kuja's probably a good option. None of these characters from now until well past Cosmos into the Chaos era are going to last for, a month or two at most. We're not having any like meta-defining characters that we know of coming around the way. You even talk about characters like VIII. He lasts for a month or two, right? So what you're saying
lasts
about
a while, from my understanding, he lasts until the Chaos era.
Which
is not long after he launches because he's the last 60-60. So,
but Chaos didn't arrive until the 2nd anniversary, I thought, for Japan, which was 5-6 months after.
Not 5, 6, maybe 2 or 3. But I mean, VIII is a great character. I'm gonna pity him for sure. But I know he wasn't class's top. Noctis still took the crown from him from that. And as someone who already pulled Noctis EX, I'm still pitying VIII. VIII's still an amazing character. I think his kid is great. I'm just saying, nobody should feel any character is a must pull. We should always remind them of that, even with pity now and people hoarding gems. Yeah.
I think the last must pull we had was Saw's 35 CP.
Selfie Kate?
Selfie Kate, you needed one of them. I do not think you needed both of them, but having both made things much easier.
I mean, would you say Bart's is a must pull for now? I feel like he's carrying a lot of content.
He's helping with content. I don't think he's mandatory.
Right.
But yeah, he definitely makes things easier.
There are some characters. I mean, I think Warrior of Light's rework, his EX plus, very, very good on both accounts. So there are some character reworks coming. Clouds isn't pretty much any of the character reworks at the level 70 era with the EX pluses are pretty good. Yeah, Charlotta is one of those characters that's super useful.
Also remember that we have
that's a long ways away.
More close coming character awakening reworks close to the Cosmos era. We have Zidane rework, we have VIII rework, we have Furion rework, we have Onion Knight rework, Ishtola, Cloud, Squall. Other characters are going to get their time to shine, and they can fill holes in rosters right now if you already have them and they're sitting on the bench.
Exactly. If you don't pull, Cloud and Furion should carry you till Cosmos when they launch, even if they don't launch on time. Even if they throw early things at us, they should be able to carry us. And I feel like the reason I hate this era right now is because, to further on it feeling like a trap, starting with Kuja, we can see how much the EX changes them. It's so much their power. Kuja without the EX compared to Kuja with the EX is a night and day difference. Kuja with the EX can keep his stacks up forever. And the 100% AoE is a huge add. And the 40 attack party aura, it's ridiculous. Like, it's almost as if Kuja isn't worth using coming up without his EX. And every character is going to start feeling like that, I believe.
I mean, Thancred already felt like that, but he was a time traveler. But
yeah.
EX weapons going forward will feel much more integral to the character's kits. I've actually said in my Kuja Awakening analysis that the viability without EX weapons already outlived its usefulness here.
Yeah, going forward, you look at all of it. For example, Golbez's gives him the Dark Imperil, and all his attacks are dark.
And Paladin Cecil's gives him Holy Imperil, and he needs that for his damage.
And then Quistis gives the huge delay that she's known for. Renoa's as well, and it's everyone coming up, basically.
I think Rosa might be the last one who has like an EX that's good but not mandatory. And I'm not 100% sure on that because I haven't researched her too much yet.
Yeah. From what I've heard, when Rosa and Lena dropped, people said, oh, you don't need their EXs to be good. And then Cosmos came and they're like, okay, you do need their EXs or they're going to run out of skills, period.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, don't feel like you have to pull on anything. I don't think if you pull on Kuja, you're going to be disappointed unless you are, I guess.
I don't mind if people pull on Kuja. It's just a lot of people seem to think Kuja is the meta answer.
I don't see that. In the conversations that I've seen on Reddit and on Discord, it's been the opposite. People are saying skip Kuja, skip Kuja, skip Kuja. I'm hearing a lot more people in your camp than in the you got to have Kuja.
Okay, because I've definitely seen
that.
Even
2-3 months ago, yeah, that was Kuja, but the closer we've gotten to Kuja, especially with some of the time travelers we got, I've seen a lot of people try moving towards the skip Kuja or wait till Renoa. There's still a lot of people wait till Renoa. So
okay, see, I only brought it up because there was a Kuja thread that I linked in our Discord, and even people in our Discord and main cord that were saying that, oh, Kuja is just as good an investment as Renoa, or Kuja will last throughout Cosmos, so that's why I was like, let's let's be sure that the 1.5 months of Kuja viability is very different from Renoa's 1.5 month. Renoa's 1.5 month, it's right before Cosmos. Kuja's ends at Cosmos. There's a pretty big difference.
I would also like to point out that once we hit 70 awakenings, the game changes completely again. So we're only going to have this issue for a few months before we have to switch what we're talking about altogether.
I mean, the bottom line that I've seen from the launch of the game is don't expect any character to last forever. As I always say, 1 month of viability is a pretty good pull, I'd take.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So, yeah, so hopefully you've got your own opinions and you'll not listen to us or listen to us or laugh along in our faces and anything else. So,
yeah. Oh, sorry. To address the chat a little bit, Shara says, I'm skipping Kuja and Renoa. Well, Shara, you're an infamously big FF8 fan, so I don't believe that at all. I'm sure you're pulling Renoa. Mark as well. As I told my buddy, who also FF8 is his favorite, he's pulling Quistis and Renoa just like Mark. FF8, I think, has been the luckiest when it comes to meta characters. All of their characters have been very good, if not viable, except for maybe Zell and Irvine.
Yeah,
but everyone...
Zell's good, but Irvine... Well, Zell had his time. Irvine, was
everyone else has been, like, top of the food chain for a while. Squall had his time. Quistis and Renoa will.
Selfie was strong for months.
Yes, Selfie. You know, like, FF8 fans, oof. The DFFO producer must be a big FF8 fan.
It is.
And, Wadabu says, I'm skipping every banner. It's all gambling.
Yeah. Gambling is wrong. Don't pull.
Wadabu says, don't forget Crystal Chronicles. No. Lael is strong. Yuri, no. And, oh shit, Charlotta. Okay, whatever.
Charlotta.
You're right.
I'm bringing my Yuri off the bench when the Rosa event comes around. He'll be the only synergy character I have for it.
Me too.
I'm bringing my Sabin, and I'm sure he's going to be garbage because he didn't even serve me well in the Ghost Holy Heretics. Piece of crap.
Oh. Well, coming up, we have next week, we have Arc 2, Chapter 2, which introduces a new character whose feet we've seen several times through loading screens, Paladin Cecil. So we'll talk more about Paladin Cecil next week, whether you should pull or not pull. As Mino says, don't pull at all for the next couple months. Save your gems.
That's not what I said. That's not what, I'm just saying, if you're specifically chasing meta like so many people seem to be, I mean, we've all met those people, right? Saying, oh, I'm hoarding my 300k gems for the next meta character. It's, you know, do a little...
for the couple people we have who are... I don't know, Macnol, are you still with us? How many gems are you at? I know I think Quetz and I and Macnol are around the same, but one of them may have considerably more. They may be...
Someone's at 300k.
They may be towards the 400,000. So some of that's like smart pulling, good thinking. You know, by the time you get to like 500, 6,000, Macnol's at 350.
Son of a bitch, ban Macnol.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. And he has Bart's and Thancred's EX, so Macnol's fine. He's not pulling anytime soon. But yeah, at some point you got to balance it. And we've talked about that. You know, if you are hoarding, if you have 500,000 gems and you're having fun and you're doing what you want to do, you know, God bless you. Do whatever you want to do. But if you're struggling and you're like, oh, this game is so, you know, stupid, and you've got 600,000 gems, then, you know, pull a couple times, right? Like, you know, just...
Yeah. And again, these heretics are designed to help entice you to pull because you need a wider roster. And if you're sitting on a few characters, you're not going to complete it.
Yeah, my advice was more geared towards Kreese, who doesn't have any gems. And he blew it all on Kuja. To be fair, Kuja's a favorite of his.
I am a huge FF9 fan. I blew all my gems on Zidane when his EX arrived. I blew all my gems on Kuja when he arrived the first time. And I blew all my gems on Kuja this time around, too.
See, I don't know what that's like, because FF6 is my favorite, but I would never pull for Cyan or... I know my character. FX6 characters, no matter how much I love the game, I'm skipping half the characters, like Cyan and Terra EX. I mean, like, what do they do this game? You know, It's horrible.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. If you want to get in contact with us, if you want to check out other episodes, if you want to get connected with our Discord or any of our other social medias, we are on Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. If you are late to the show, I'm just putting the Discord in chat now. If you're late to the show and want to catch up on what you missed, the best place to find us is at our website, www.tccpodcast.com. That is the Crystal Chronicles podcast.com, TCC Podcast. We are at Facebook at FFTCC Podcast, on Twitter at FFTCC Podcast. I try to post a lot of things, especially on Twitter. Articles and videos from our friends on Discord. You can watch us on Twitch, the Crystal Chronicles. Sometimes we do other streams, drunken streams, polls. I was trying to do a poll stream, and I something's wrong with my setup here, so I wasn't able to do that. But sometimes we get on and do some other things throughout the week. So you can catch us on Twitch, the Crystal Chronicles. YouTube, you can just search the Crystal Chronicles. We should pop up, and just join us for all the fun. So, Pierre, thanks, Pierre, who is not with us today, but is our executive producer. Pierre makes all the magic once the show is done and makes all the audio sound beautiful for your listening pleasure. So we thank Pierre for all the behind-the-scenes work and upkeep he does for us. For myself, and for MinoSpelgud, and for Kreese, a.k.a. Zerink, have a wonderful week in the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, and good luck on all of your Kuja polls or on all of your Kuja hate. And we will see you next week with a new episode and new characters to talk about. Until then, goodbye.